Yeah, it's all about you. Oh, you're precious girl. What are we gonna talk about today? Mommy's gonna talk about how I made you. Well, the story of how I made you. Well, the before. The before. No one else wants to hear that. The before. The how you came to be. Yeah. The how this little munchkin came to be. You know, when I was going through my journey, I don't know why, but you know, if it doesn't happen just so naturally or so easily, you kind of just feel alone. And I mean, that's how I felt. I felt alone in the journey, and I felt like I didn't even want to talk about it with anyone. I didn't want anyone to really know that I was, you know, struggling. I was just embarrassed, I guess I would say. I just felt like my body wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. And yeah, it sucks that, you know, girls go through that. Now that I've been through the whole thing, I know so many other girls go through not being able, you know, to get pregnant right away, or go through some sort of journey until getting pregnant. I think infertility is just, I mean, it's just kind of scary to talk about. But I wanted to know everything about it. I wanted to know every little detail. I read all of the books. I mean, they say not to, you know, become obsessed with it, but you just become obsessed with it because that's all you could think about when you're trying to have a little nugget, like you. When I was trying to have you, I just wanted you so bad. So, for the journey, I wrote it all down here because this is a lot in a short amount of time. I feel like that I did and I went through. And you know, if you're going through a journey to try to get pregnant, you know, that maybe this will help, you know, because it doesn't come so easily to everybody. And you know, I know listening to other people's stories made me feel better and, you know, helped me to not feel alone. So yeah, right, baby? It's a scary thing, yeah. You love all the colors of mommy's sweater? She's just trying to eat it. Okay, so I'm going to start with when we first started trying. So we got married in September of 2021. So that's when we started trying. And we were trying for about like 5 to 6 months before I, you know, started questioning anything. And, you know, I think in the beginning, you just, you know, you're trying obviously to have fun with it and to not think about it and, you know, just try to, you know, wait for God's plan, which is, you know, what Vin kept saying, that, you know, it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. But something in, you know, like the back of my mind just told me that something might be wrong. And also, of course, it's hard when, you know, how old was I? Maybe I was 28 at the time. And, you know, everyone around me, or, you know, just everyone from high school and just everyone you see, of course, when you're trying, everyone else is having babies all around you, you know, getting married. It's just that time of your lives that's what happens. And, you know, that was hard. You know, I'm constantly seeing people's pregnancy announcements, which of course is triggering while you're trying. And it was just, you know, hard. So it was a combination of that and me feeling like something might be wrong. So also, I hadn't been to like a gyno or a doctor or anything in literally forever because I'm so scared of them, which has gotten better now since having her because, you know, that's just what happens. But no, I was just really scared. At that point I had not even ever had a pap smear or anything done. So I don't know if that's like so common. They kind of made me feel crazy when I made that appointment. But so that's what was the next thing. So it had to be, I guess, February. So February of 2022, I went to the gyno, got my first pap smear, and I told them about all of my concerns. Where are you going? Where are you going? So I told them about my concerns, and they basically said, you know, they weren't concerned. They think that I should be trying for at least a year for them to even really check anything. They kind of just dismissed, you know, the whole thing. So, you know, that kind of, you know, sucked. I was trying to listen to them, but at the same time, I just wasn't satisfied with that answer. I wanted to know, you know, what was going on in my body. I wish they just did an ultrasound and just checked, but, you know, that's just how the gyno does things. So I took it into, oh, Vin's coming home now. Okay. Daddy came home. So after that, like I said, I wasn't happy with their answer. So I decided to Google and, like, you know, look up fertility clinics because I just wanted an internal sonogram. I just wanted them to tell me everything was, you know, everything was good in there. So I found one in Manhattan because I was living in Staten Island at the time. So I found one in Manhattan. It was I think it's called Manhattan Reproductive Center. So I made an appointment with them. That's now early March. Aw, are you getting tired? What time is it? Oh, you only been up for 1 hour. Okay, well, we had a brief intermission. Vin came home for lunch, and then the baby had to go down for a nap. I went to the fertility clinic in early March of 2022. So I went there and I called them. I told them my concerns, and they, I made an appointment. So when I went in, everyone was just so sweet and so nice, and you kind of just, I don't know, I felt better going there, or it's just different than like the gyno, if you know what I mean. So I went there and I sat down with the doctor. She said okay, she understood everything I said, but it's kind of the same thing. She was like, I think that people just get nervous when it's their first baby, and you'll be fine, but let's do an internal sonogram and let's see. So we do the internal sonogram, and she ended up seeing that I had polyps in my uterus, which I later found out run in my family. But so she said that that wasn't really a cause for concern of why I wasn't getting pregnant, but I mean, it could be because, maybe they're blocking one of the fallopian tubes, and that could have been a reason why, that maybe the egg wasn't dropping. I didn't know. So so when she saw that, she was like, okay, I want to order, we did so much blood, so a lot of blood tests, and then she ordered 2 tests for me to be done. So the first test is a sonohysterography, or a saline test. So that's probably, not how you say it, but it's like a saline sonogram where they take pictures of all the polyps. They wanted to make sure they could see everything before I was going to have a scheduled surgery to remove all those polyps. And then the second test is a hysterosaplingogram, or it's an HSG test. So that is with ink. So it's kind of like the same thing as the saline test, but this one's with ink. And this was to make sure that my fallopian tubes were perfectly open. So the ink goes, all through you and then into the fallopian tubes, and it kind of takes a picture so that you can see. So very similar test, just for different things. And both of them I had to get done within a certain amount of time of my cycle. So thank goodness it perfectly worked out that it just aligned with my cycle perfectly, and for me to get all that done in that month. The first test I did was the HSG ink test. So that's the first thing I did, because I couldn't get that done at the clinic. I had to go somewhere separate for that, because it's like maybe an imaging center. I kind of forget what exactly that was, but so I made an appointment. I went there, and that was probably the worst, like throughout the whole thing, just the worst experience I had overall. The doctor that helped me was just so cold, and which I guess she just, for her, it was just a profession, just get the job done. And she didn't really, it just felt so cold to me. Thank God the nurses were so nice though, because first of all, it's scary, like I said, that I just got my first pap smear. So I was very scared of like all of this. And that being the next test, I was, of course, again, so scared. So the test was fine though. It didn't hurt at all, and it was fast. But so they do the test, and I didn't think anything was gonna show up on this test. Of course, you never think that something's gonna go wrong. I just thought that, I'm just gonna do everything they're telling me to do. So they did the test, they took the picture, and so she points the screen towards me, and you see, the whole anatomy of a girl, and you see the fallopian tubes, but you only see one. So you only see the ink go to one, and there's nothing on this side. It kind of just stops. So I'm looking at the picture, and I'm just kind of in shock, because why would I only have one fallopian tube open? I still don't know why. But the doctor explained it basically that every month I had a 50% chance of getting pregnant instead of an 100% chance like everybody else. Hopefully, let's just say perfect case scenario for everybody else, the eggs are dropping out of both tubes. So for me, my left tube is open, my right was closed. So if that month an egg was dropping from the right, that I wouldn't be getting pregnant that month because the egg can't come out, something like that. So that was hard now. So now my head, I have these polyps, I have one fallopian tube. What on earth is going on? So they didn't really tell me anything of why that could be. Everything that they said didn't have anything to do with me. When I brought the results back to the fertility clinic, that doctor basically said that it could be closed, it could be open, it could have just been that test. Maybe it closed for the test or something. I don't know, I never got another one done. So as of right now, I'm still thinking I only have one working fallopian tube. I don't know. So then the next test was the saline test. That was great. Everybody that worked at this fertility clinic, honestly, is just so reassuring, so nice. They just really made me feel good about it. And it was kind of scary because they bring you into the surgery center, so it seemed a lot more intense than it was. But that went fine. They took pictures of all the polyps, and that was that. So this all was early March. Now, I scheduled the surgery to get the polyps removed. So that was called a hysteroscopy surgery, something like that. So that I had March 28th of 2022. That I got put under for that, and that was great. They did a great job. They got rid of all the polyps. Of course, scary to be put under. Everything was kind of nerve-wracking and scary. I just was at the point where I of course I would have done anything to get pregnant, and so that's just something. And plus, nobody wants a bunch of polyps in their uterus, so I wanted to get them removed anyway. So then after that, I had to wait a month for that to heal, so like for everything to heal in there. And then my doctor had suggested that I do IUI, which is so for what I did, I was put on like progesterone. I had like the capsules, I had to do that, and then you had to do a shot of like a hormone. Kind of forget like everything now, what everything was called, but that's basically what I had to do, and it was IUI with planned conception. So they weren't like inseminating me with anything. It was just planned. And so we did that. So that we started in April. So we did one round of that. April, it didn't work, and I had a chemical pregnancy, which if you're not tracking your, like I was, you really wouldn't ever know if you had a chemical pregnancy. They're pretty common, but still, if you do know and you're trying so hard to have a baby, it is heartbreaking. At that point, you're doing so many blood tests. I was going in every week to do more blood tests. Every week they were doing internal sonograms to look at my follicles, look at everything, and everything always just looked so amazing, and you're just so hopeful that, you know, when it doesn't happen, it really, of course, crushes you. So I actually got those strips off of Amazon to check your HCG, and I really recommend those strips, because if you're like tracking everything as much as, you know, I had the pregnancy strips, and then I also had the just if you were ovulating strips. So I really recommend those because it's cheaper and they're really easy. So I knew that I had a chemical pregnancy because, you know, the strips were all coming up that I was pregnant. And then, but the strip, it was going from darker to lighter to lighter to lighter to lighter, all like, you know, within these days. So I went for the blood test and the number was so low. I go for another one and it was, you know, I wasn't pregnant. And, you know, that's really hard. You know, it's heartbreaking. That was hard. So then we did another round that next month. You know, in May again, we tried again to do another round of IUI, and again, it didn't work. And, you know, I think, I don't know, I guess you just are so hopeful. You're so hopeful, especially when you go to a fertility clinic. And, you know, for me too, because I wasn't trying for a year yet. Now, a lot of people might be saying, oh, I was, you know, I was just going a little like too fast with it, which I completely understand if you think that. But for me, once they told me I only had a 50% chance, I kind of felt, you know, it's unfair. You know, it's not, that sucked. So I wanted to give my body a chance to have that 100% chance. So that's why we did the trigger shots, because it was hopefully going to release more eggs. But no, it you know, it didn't work. So I only did IUI 2 times, both times didn't work. So then so that was May. Now, so now me and Vin are moving. We had a million different parties. I had my sister's engagement party. I had my nephew's baptism. We had a graduation party. We had just so much, plus we were moving. Vin was getting a new job. So that June was just crazy. That was all in June. So there was, you know, I was kind of at that point just, you know, let me give my body a break for this month. Let me just do all the crazy stuff. Me and Vin were we were, you know, driving here, doing that whole thing. It was just very stressful, of course, moving on top of, you know, everything else. So July 16th, then I found out that I was pregnant. Also didn't believe, because of the chemical pregnancy, I sent it to one of my friends when I, you know, found out again, and she was so, of course, excited for me, and I was like, no, I'm not excited yet. I was like, I'm gonna test every day for a week, and then if all of them are positive, then I'll be excited. And then I was scared to tell anyone because I just didn't believe it. It feels like something that could just be taken away, I guess, and I just wanted to cherish it. So I don't think until I went to the doctor in August for that first sonogram, and when I heard her heartbeat for the first time is when it all hit me. I cried hysterically on the way to that doctor appointment because I was so scared. But hearing the heartbeat for the first time on the monitor was one of the best moments in my life. So for my journey, it seemed so fast. Of course, at the time, it seemed never ending and so long and just really impossible. Honestly, as much as, you know, of course I wanted to be pregnant so badly, it just seemed so out of my reach. It really did. I felt like I was never going to be pregnant. And, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just so hard. So I hope that if you are trying to get pregnant, that, you know, if you are watching this, it's, you know, it's not impossible. And there are so many people going through their own journey of trying to get pregnant. So obviously this is my journey. This is what I went through. And this was 10 months of my life, you know, trying to get pregnant. Other people, you know, I know people who were trying for 3 years doing IUI. I know people who, you know, were doing like just everything and anything to get pregnant. And I know some people who still haven't gotten pregnant. So, you know, everyone has their own journey. I know people who got pregnant the first time that they tried. So it's really just different for everyone. And, you know, I just don't want anyone to give up hope, because I would go through it all again to have Briella, obviously. It was all worth it. All the tests, all the blood work. And let me tell you, I was very scared of blood work. I never gave blood, like I never did blood work before that unless I was literally on my deathbed, given, you know, it was only like 2 other times that I ever had to give blood. Like I had to, I didn't have a choice. So I went through all of this, you know, all of the needles, all of the scary appointments, all of the tests and the surgery, and, you know, it was all worth it. And I got my little baby. So I just want you all to know that it's worth it if you're trying. It is just the most special, magical time ever. I feel like it's nice to just have like a sit down to, you know, talk about everything. It makes me emotional even like thinking back now to everything that I did go through. And, you know, when eventually we are, you know, planning to have another, you know, it's, again, you go through the same scary emotions. It's just, pregnancy is a wild, wild thing. And once, you know, when you read all the books and you know how impossible it seems to actually have a baby, it's crazy how we all have babies, you know, it's just crazy. It has to happen at just the most perfect moment your body has to be at, when that perfect little egg is being released going down and that perfect little guy is going up, and they somehow meet. It's just, you know, you literally have a 24-hour window, and yeah, it's just crazy. But, you know, it'll hopefully happen for anyone who is out there and who is trying. So I hope this video will make you feel better, because I know other people's videos really helped me. Also, if you have any questions about what I went through, if you're going through the same thing, or, you know, if you just also want to talk, definitely just leave a comment below. I know talking to other people who are going through it really, really helped me. And if I could do that for somebody else who's going through it, I, you know, would love to be there for you guys. Okay? All right. Bye, guys.
Baby girl, did someone wake up from their nap? Yeah, it was all worth it for you. No, 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 no. We get you out now. We get you out now, my baby girl. I just love you so much.